Creed 3 movie review. Right off the bat, I will say it's the worst of the 3 Creed movies so far. They make a 4th. Hopefully it's better than the 3rd. If you read the synopsis or seen the trailer, you pretty much know what's going to happen. He's going to win in the end. The plot is pretty straightforward, as I say. Starts out with him winning a boxing match, basically retiring, doing the family thing, and then his friend from back in the day, gets out of jail, meets up with him, and then from there, you pretty much know what's going to happen. There's a feud between the two. He wants a shot. He does a little sneaky thing to get his title shot. He wins the fight that he was scheduled to fight, and then basically bullies his way into fighting Creed, and that's the end of the movie. Creed wins, and then they make up at the end. There's a little bit of a, back history with how the guy got arrested. Basically, Creed was beating up on some guy that beat the crap out of both of those guys in a youth home when they were younger. Creed saw him at a convenience store, started beating on him, and his buddy Dame ended up pulling a gun. And then, when he pulled a gun, the cops actually were pulling in. Since he had some priors, he went to jail for 18 years. So it's a typical backstory for a movie like this. One of the things, as Creed was actually helping Dame, which is his buddy from back in the day, he was actually a Gold Glove champion, ranked real high. I think number 1 in the world or United States. I can't remember if it was the world or United States. He was ranked number 1. He was really kicking some butt before he went to jail. But when he got out of jail and they were at this party for Creed's wife, the number 1 contender at the time for the championship belt got his arm broke by one of Dame's buddies that was in jail with him. Sort of predictable that it was connected to Dame. Before they even revealed it, you sort of knew something was going to happen where he got his title shot and forced his way into it, the way he was talking with Creed. He obviously had skills and still had skills. But it was just a little bit of a bullying his way to a title shot, and even fighting Creed, pushing Creed, threatening Creed. After he won the title shot, he actually punched him in the face. His wife plays a decent role, but it's more of a second tier story. She now just produces music instead of actually singing the music herself. Their child, if you remember, which is deaf, is involved a little bit, probably just as much as the wife. They're doing the sign language the whole time in between the 3 of them, and even some of the other actors in the movie. So that was pretty cool to see that interaction, the actors actually learning the sign language. Something different that you don't see in the movies a lot. Creed's grandmother, obviously, something's going to happen to her in the movie. You could sort of tell because they build it up, because she had a stroke. Well, they said she had a stroke early on in the movie, and they asked her to live with them. She kept refusing. So, by the end, she was actually going to die, which she did. She did play another role in the movie. She actually hid letters from prison from Dame, from Creed. And that played a little bit of a role because Dame sort of thought that he just abandoned him while he was in jail, because he didn't respond to any of the mail that he wrote. That's pretty much the movie. It sounds jumbled the way I explained it, but it's pretty much, as you're watching it, it's a straightforward movie. If you think going in what you're going to see is actually what you're going to see. Step by step as it progresses, you're all right, what's coming next. next after that, next after that. Nothing really too special or surprising. The boxing itself really wasn't that great choreography wise, in my opinion. And even the final boxing match, I thought it could have been a little bit better, a little bit longer. Some of the CGI that they did try to do in the middle of the match, they basically emptied the arena. They actually used Dodger Stadium and had it full, but like they showed one round and then like another round, they just had basically everybody disappear, and there was a little bit of CGI going on. Kind of just ruined the atmosphere for me. Kind of felt too forced and fake, like a fake atmosphere, which it obviously was. Instead of showing like a fighter, like concentrating or zooming in on one thing, and just blanking out the crowd that's cheering, it was just such like a fake background. It just sort of took away from that whole end scene, which sort of actually, to me, sort of ruined the movie a little bit more. And then, obviously, the last round that they showed, you knew what was going to happen. There was going to be Creed getting beat on a little bit, and then just turning the table, and then winning in the end. What was nice about Dame, though, is when he was training in the gym for a brief period, and even his first fight, the way he attacked and did a little bit of dirty boxing a little bit, which you haven't really seen in any of the Rockies or Creeds before. So that was a little bit different and unexpected, but that part I actually liked a lot more than the rest of the choreography and the boxing that went on. Really not much else to say. I mean, I still liked it, but I still felt it was like the worst of the three Creeds. I mean, I would maybe give it out of 3 out of 5. I mean, going to see it in the theater, you're not going to see anything more or less seeing it in the theater as you would at home on a high definition TV. You don't really need to rush out to see it, because even people that are going to talk about it aren't going to really spoil anything, because you know what's going to happen before you even go. So you could wait for it or see it in the theaters. I obviously like to see things in theaters because it's just something to do, and I like watching things on that big screen and having the speakers around me, even though not necessarily for this movie it plays a role. But other than that, if you like the franchise, you might like it, but don't expect it to blow you away compared to the first one or even the second one. So other than that, I think that's about it for this one. So